the domain of the knowable future. What can we forecast with reasonable certainty? Not absolute certainty, because nothing about the future is absolutely certain, not even tomorrow morning sunrise. But tomorrow morning sunrise is reasonably certain, right? It would take a cataclysm of some proportion just to slow the sun down from arriving, let alone stop it altogether. So we are reasonably certain that the sun will rise tomorrow, and there are, in fact, large chunks of the future about which we can make reasonably certain statements. Starting with demographics. The size, the makeup of the population, the workforce, the consumer markets. 15 years out, we can forecast adult population. I mean, everybody who's going to be an adult in the next 15 years has already been born. There's a long lead time in producing adults. We don't start out that way. So we can forecast the adult population with some reliability. Here is a graph showing the makeup of the adult population of the United States from 1950 to the year 2010. Hard data about the future. And as we look at that, what does it tell us? Wow, there's a lot of change going on there. Here's the baby boomers when they were in their youngest age, 16 to 24-year-old, biggest group in society. And then they matured, well, at least chronologically, and then we had this period when the 25 to 34-year-olds were the largest group in our society, from 1980 to about 1995. And then, bingo, they matured again, and then they became 35 to 44-year-olds. And now that's beginning to decline because, now the boomers are beginning to turn 50, right? So, that's right. That's what we mean when we talk about an aging population. We have an aging population. Oh, boy. Even Greenspan is worried about this, right? Nothing gets by him. Fed chief warns a rise in the number of old people. Well, now, what are we talking about here? Everybody talks about how we're getting older, and it's almost like one of these days we're all going to walk out the door and suddenly, boom, we're all going to be old. No. In fact, we can't even define old age anymore very accurately. First of all, we tended to think of old age as a time when people slow down, when people are in ill health. But, in fact, medicine and good diet and a variety of other regulations with regard to public health have meant that we are healthier and healthier with every passing year. And in particular, the elderly in America are enjoying remarkably good health. So, in fact, all the forecasts of how much additional costs it will weigh upon Medicare as more and more of us get older, they're now recalculating that. They're saying, hey, you know what? Well, we may have overestimated what the medical care costs are going to be for old folks. And one of the other things we've discovered, if you make it through to about age 70 and do not have one of life's great diseases, like cancer, heart disease, diabetes, the likelihood is you will probably not spend much time in a hospital at all during the rest of your life. You will just simply grow old and finally wink out one night at about 92. And in fact, not only are we healthier according to the statistics, but we have this wonderful research now from the MacArthur Foundation in which they've gone and interviewed tens of thousands of Americans at different age groups. And what they found out is that most Americans feel much younger than they are as well. Indeed, they surveyed folks aged 25 to 34. And here's your actual age group. And they asked them, how old do you feel? And on the average, the men said that they felt about 28 years of age, and so did the women. So even though it was a 25 to 34-year group, they felt like they were at the low end of that range. For the 35 to 44-year-olds, I asked them how old they felt, and most of them felt younger than their actual age, 34 or 33 years of age. For the 45 to 54-year-olds, they felt like they were about 40. The 55 to 64-year-olds said, in our late 40s, that's about how we feel. And by the time we get to the 65 to 74-year-olds, they're now about 20 years younger. Now I feel like I'm in my 50s, right? So people feel great, which means that they ain't slowing down when they get old. Right? They're going out there and they are skiing and they are abseiling and rock climbing. Yep, it's true. The baby boomers have, the oldest ones have begun to reach their 50s. But they're in good health. They're in good shape. On the other hand, they're not all that keen about being 50.